under 12 South Regatta, July 2019. Good job. Red boat is Kevin. I believe Kevin is 8. 76321 tried to port tack the fleet and was over. So decent start by Kevin in there. We've got 20 boats in each fleet. There's 22s, no problem. We're gonna get better every single race.
Okay, this is a yellow and green start. You are in.
There's Kevin hiking out, going out to the other side.
Oregon, whoever SCYC is watching this start, I would like to cut the finish line in half, please.
It's a breezy flat water day. You can see her alcohol smoked. Second regatta of her life. And she's just
It's
fighting
not
for it,
restricted,
man.
so there's no exposure.
Look at that. She's just over trimmed, but that sail just doesn't mind it at all. The mast is so good. She's going to beat some boats today. Oh my goodness, she's going to beat some boats. She looks really good. Second start for race 1. Here's Catherine doing her first regatta. And Chris is in this fleet too. Chris is going to be 8,900. She was on port tack and want to get her on starboard. There we go. So this is a full mix. That kid just to windward 8662 is an A fleeter, and she's getting this chance to start right next to him. Anton, 8662. Nice. Now port tack is better. Port tack is taking us more towards that beach. Look at her. Yeah, a little over trimmed, but who cares? These masts don't mind being a little over trimmed. These masts are so good. Nice. So many of these kids are really good sailors. 30, 40 regattas under their belts. And then here you've got Catherine right here. First regatta of her life. She did bronze Sabots at Coronado Yacht Club, silver Sabots, and then gold Bic, and sailing a club boat, and she is just creaming here. First race of her life. My first race of my life was right here at San Diego Yacht Club, and I got stuck in irons and went backwards and cried when I was 10 and a half. Race 2, I got stuck in irons at the start, went backwards, didn't finish the race and cried. And then race 3 I finished. She's just charging. Look at this, she is beating.
I have to give big props up to all coaches, but especially Molly and Matt for
her hand technique is not great, but I don't really care that much. She's sailing the boat on the edge of the wind really well. She should have her hand more level, but I don't care. She's
Are we cool with at least encouraging the back end of C3? Like,
oh, they're definitely about to overlap. I think they're going to be overlap before the first mark, and I see Nico Simonet, who was over and went back, already pretty gapped out in the 1.
yes, thank you for being the only boat.
Fleets led by Anton. So this is the guy I'm going to video a lot. Very experienced. He's been sailing for like 4 years, and he's still under 12. And he does 29ers, he does Sabots, 29ers for fun mostly, just to rip around. Here comes Catherine coming in here in second. No, second in the second start, hasn't rounded yet. This is yellow against green, and the guy in the red boat there wasn't in. Here comes Jade around in third, or Catherine.
Of course, are they on? Twice around. Copy, thanks.
All right, Chris comes around in sixth. He just asked me if this was team racing. We did talk a lot this morning about the difference between team racing and fleet racing. Fleet racing is individual effort. We're not allowed to help each other. Once the 2-minute signal goes, we do not help each other, and we do not block each other's wind. Very unlikely that we would actually protest a teammate. We might say protest, but team racing is team racing. Fleet racing is individual effort. Good question, brother. Now, Catherine is on port tack, and the boat next to her is the A fleeter on starboard, maybe a B fleeter, so she's in very good company. Jade did a great job of coming around the gates and not tacking. She came around, went about 30 seconds, and then tacked. She's right here with Kevin. I would have done what Jade did there maybe, is just keep coming a little ways. Okay, there she goes. This is a good angle. See how port tack's taking us straight up towards the beach pretty much? Starboard tack is taking across the bay, where port tack is taking us up the bay. That's the key. Jade is not on the wind, but she's doing fine. Better not on the wind than too hot. Race 2 for Catherine. We're just gonna get her to trim a little less. See the big overbend wrinkles? She's just bending the mast too far, but she's lucky she's in a fast new boat. That's a club boat, believe it or not. And so the boat is dialed in with the leeboard mount and everything, so she's actually surviving okay there. But I'll get her to trim 2 inches looser from there and then pull it in a little in the puffs, or when she's going fast.
How old are those boats, John?
6 months?
Oh.
We got 20 of these coming.
Oh, wow.
We got 5 of them already, and they're just they're rockets.
Don builder?
Yeah. They're kind of rough. They're not really polished off really a lot.
Yeah.
So they're a little rough around the edges, but that way we kept them cheaper. But it's the Corsair mold.
Okay.
Yeah, look at that. Is that incredible? If we were a really good racer, we'd be able to see the holes out here. There's a lot of light wind spots. There's Chris over there, probably in about 4th or 5th in his fleet. Chris has actually sailed up into the first fleet. So Chris started in the 2nd race, and he's in about 10th in the first fleet start.
Captain Sabot on my starboard ley line, top right. Copy that.
So for race 2, for Kevin, trying to look at his sail more and just be more steady upwind. There was times where he was heeling way over, taking water on. Then there was times it was light wind and his telltales weren't flying. So more steady upwind. Chris, not a whole lot of changes. Chris is doing very well in this race. Good rounding by Kevin. Port tack is really good. Okay, that was unfortunate. He's got to be more careful there. He should have come around the mark and went behind that boat. Chris did a great rounding going off left. Oh, he's just charging. He needs to feather towards me just 2 inches, just a little, to decompress the boat, just a little.
The boat that flipped was 9405.
If you guys remember race 1, you remember the holes in the wind, the light spots were huge. When we go through light spots, we look at the telltales and we play the main sheet a little to fly the telltales. When it gets breezy, we accelerate and then we feather up a little. Yep, up a little, up a little. See, he's fighting just a little too much. Up a little. He's feathering though. You see the front of the sail luffing a little? That's good. One of the biggest puffs of the day right here. Okay, Chris doing a great job of feathering. Kevin did a great job, 8 years old, waiting here for this traffic to go by. Starboard tack is really good right now. It's taking us towards the beach. Okay, now he needs to tack. He's looking at his race course to make sure he's did it right. Big puff, you see that big puff? Come on, ease. Chris got parked. Good job, you guys. Finished right next to each other. Jade doing very well. The best thing she did is she kept her mainsail over the corner the whole race. Improvements for them is, man, that was a tough race. The light spots compared to the puffs were dramatically. The lightest wind spots were 2 knots and the windiest spots were 9 or 10. And so in the light spots, we have to stare at the telltales more, and we do our check luffs with the main sheet a little more. Okay, good job. 9047's been racing for at least a year and a half, if not 2 years. Jade has done 1 regatta, so we're doing well. She's on starboard tack. I gotta get out of here. Replica of the Yacht America. The America's Cup is named after the Yacht America. That's a replica of it. Jade doing much better this time. 10 seconds to go, and she didn't get too close to the pin. Now hopefully she just heads up and starts now. They're just learning to start on starboard tack. Beauty. The second regatta of her life, and she just started just like that. Our goals this race is to not trim quite as tight. Our goals this race are to sit in the boat when the wind gets light and stare at the telltales when the wind gets light. That first race was really hard because the wind would just die to 2 knots. Okay, there's 9504's an A fleeter. Been sailing 60 regattas in his life, I bet, at least 50. Look at you, beauty. Race 2, the first fleet. You can see the A fleeter is putting on a clinic here. This is so great for you guys because you're gonna see how good you are in 2 years if you stick with it. 2nd place, 3rd place, 4th place in a big puff, and here's Chris in 5th. 1 minute to go. Jade is gonna come around beating a couple of boats, 3, 4, 5 boats that are still back over here. Kevin has got to slow down a little. He should head up towards me and push his boom out. The pin's right there. He's got to head up and slow down. He's running out of runway quick. I don't know where Catherine is. Oh, here's Catherine again on port tack. That's okay. This gives us a chance to teach. Oh, good job, Kevin. Good job, Kevin. That guy's over. Okay, that was a good job though. He's pushing the line a little too hard. Better than being late. A lot of times kids are very cautious. Kevin is not cautious. Kevin should have ducked. Yeah, he should have ducked.
Hey guys, can another coach try and come up to the dock of Mission Bay?
Very close to a perfect start in race 2.
Is it a Mission Bay kid that slipped or the kid that's making his way upwind? Pretty sure both.
Right now, Molly is by herself.
Beautiful. Look at her hiking. Feathering. She's going to beat some boats. Needs Vang on. Needs Vang on. Oh, goodness. Biggest puff of the day. Made it. Good save.
Matt Dorgan, next time you have a chance, if you could bring my pin in for finishing, that's going to be important.
Good decision. He wanted to go around the left one. They're so close together, who cares? He just went with it.
Have a whole nother lap.
See how she does that hand pull? No problem. We don't need, when we're going this fast, we can move the tiller 1 inch and the boat will turn. And that's something that kids don't get. They think it's windier, so I gotta be more aggressive. Believe it or not, the rudder works so good when we're going this fast that you barely have to turn the tiller to make it turn. No problem. Beautiful slow tack. The wind's not shifting our way right now, but that was a really good tack considering we tacked in a wind shift that's coming from the left. Those kids right there upwind of you have sailed 30 regattas at least, and probably 2 Dutch marathons.
In a second, and was hoping to have a second on board here.
So a lot of people with a lot of experience out here, and you're hanging.